Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for listening to the 224th ever episode of the Missouri Sports Podcast, brought to you by 106 Apparel and recording from the Revel Advertising Studio in beautiful Springfield, Missouri. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron Albert, alongside my good friend and fellow Mizzou fan, Kyle DeVries. How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm doing just great. Cameron, how are you?
I'm doing fine. It's a nice day today.
Is it?
It's fine.
Like weather-wise?
Yeah, whatever.
It's chilly. Fine, yeah.
It's fine. I'm always happy to be here in this room with you guys, just hanging out.
Yeah, that's what we do.
And the viewers and listeners, thanks to all of you for being here with us. We've got quite an episode today. We're going to talk about the Kansas game and how bad it sucked and what we can look forward to from the basketball team moving forward. We're going to talk about football, transfer portal, announcements, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to pick the SEC slate of bowl games. Lots of SEC bowl games. We're going to pick those. And yeah, before we do all that, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, leave us a review, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Missouri Sports Pod. How about that basketball game?
Man, I gotta say, the day was really fun, hanging out with the boys and seeing some of our listeners in Columbia and going out for pizza and just the freaking hype leading up to the game and seeing the stadium just packed and like literally hours before the game started. It's just like the students had already filled the entire section and all the chanting that was happening in warm-ups and all of that, like the energy was awesome. So all of that was just fantastic. And really, even like the first few minutes of the game, just I think Kobe Brown scoring that first bucket, like thought my ears were gonna explode, and that was so awesome. All that.
Yeah, atmosphere.
And that was the end of the game. That was all we had to say.
Yeah.
Nothing else happened after that.
Weird game. Mizzou wins 2-0 on that, just one Kobe Brown basket.
Yeah.
And then they ended the game.
Yeah, that's all I remember.
Oh, man. Yeah, the atmosphere was fantastic. We've talked many times about going to that Iowa State game. This was that plus a little bit more just because of the rivalry hatred, but it was fantastic. People noted on Twitter before the game this would be the first rivalry, KU rivalry game with alcohol available in the arena.
There was a lot of that.
Yep, so you could definitely tell it had a little bit of influence. I want to give a shout out to the crowd for staying in it throughout the whole game. Like, I saw some stuff on Twitter about Kansas like taking the crowd out of it, and I've got to push back on that a little bit because maybe there were some quiet moments, but like the crowd roared back to life when Missouri went on like a tiny like
a 4-0 run.
Yeah, Missouri scored 2 baskets in a row, and the crowd was acting like it was a tie game.
We didn't have it very often, but yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, that Aiden Shaw dunk, wow.
Yeah.
The arena exploded, and we were down by 20 points probably at that point. But that actually we were on a little bit of a run. That was probably the biggest run we had in the entire game. I think
we like cut it to like 13 or something.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I mean, obviously watching a lot of basketball on TV, it's like totally different. Even watching the replay of the Aiden Shaw dunk, just doesn't even come close to doing it justice of seeing how actually high his body is in the air, like how far he had to jump away from the basket to get to the. I don't know. Just seeing it in person, especially from the angle that we were at, was just incredible.
Yeah, there's nothing like being in the arena in person in that kind of environment. There's nothing like it. And just like the pageantry of it all, I don't know. It's so fun.
Just how like intimate you are with like 15,000 people screaming.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
It is kind of like I don't know. It's like a surreal feeling almost because we were way high up and that adds something to it.
Yeah.
But very cool to be there in person. But I mean, what a mess of a game for Missouri. Like from the first possession, Missouri gets the tip, just chucks it out of bounds immediately.
Yeah, really, just the worst possible thing you could have asked for. I mean, at least give us like a decently competitive game, like for the fan interest and the fact that probably everybody paid a decent price to be there. Like, and just wanting to see a good game against a huge rival. That was a massive disappointment. Just knowing it was over literally 5 to 10 minutes after the game started, and just having to sit there for 2 hours, just kind of like knowing it's over, was kind of awful. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I went back and looked at just like how bad that first 10 minutes or so was, because the feeling in the arena was like, okay, this is not going well. Kansas is making a lot of shots, and we're playing bad, but we're down by 12 after like 3 minutes, and then just no looking back.
Basically. And I kept thinking, like, there's no way Kansas is going to keep shooting like this, but it just didn't matter at all.
Kansas missed their first 2 shots from the field and then made their next 11 in a row, including 5 makes from Grady Dick by himself, 11 points for him in the first 6 minutes. When he got his 11th point, it was Mizzou 12, Grady Dick 11, or if you include the rest of his team, 26 to 12.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the defense coming into the game, like how that's been the glaring issue all season. If you want to complain about what had happened up to the Kansas game, it was that the defense was really suspect. The perimeter defense was really bad. Everybody shot well against us so far. It's clearly not just luck at this point. But man, did they get exposed against Kansas, against a unfortunately competent team with an unfortunately great coach. They just absolutely just carved us up.
Yeah, Kansas shot 64% from 2 and 46% from 3. And they like shot, those numbers came down a lot in the second half. First half, it was like 70% from the field, 60% from 3.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah, obviously Missouri has a long way to go, like on defense especially. And, there's a lot of things talent-wise that Missouri needs to do to get to where they need to be. But honestly, one of the most glaring things for me in this game was just how rattled Missouri looked by the crowd. And again, we talked about that last week, how this environment is going to be unlike anything these players, most of them, have seen ever in their lives. And that was really obvious. Like, we thought maybe Kansas would be rattled. We thought both teams could be. But really, it just looked like only Mizzou was not prepared for the moment.
Yeah, post-game press conference, Nick Honor said that he didn't think the crowd had anything to do with. He was just complimentary of the crowd, and said that didn't have anything to do with the bad start. Okay,
maybe him. Honestly, he was one of the only players that looked ready to go.
Yeah,
but some of the guys, especially like Trey Gomillion and Demoy Hodge, some of the guys that maybe have played most of their careers at a lower level in front of a couple of thousand fans, they looked like completely different players in this game.
But Kobe Brown didn't look any better.
No.
There was one play in particular in the first half where Kobe and Noah Carter both basically just let KJ Adams just walk right past him and dunk.
Yeah. If you didn't have like audio on the situation, like if you're watching this game on TV on mute, you would have thought the whistle blew the play dead because they just gave up on the play. And
then Kobe was on the bench immediately after that.
I have no clue what was going on. We were mentally broken.
Yeah, and it looked like immediately Coach Gates realized he didn't have it in the 5 that were on the floor. So he kept trying to cycle guys in, trying to find a group of 5 that could do something. And it was never found. He even went for an extended stretch, super small lineup with Golston as the biggest guy on the floor for Mizzou. It was like East, Honor, Hodge, Gomillion, Golston were the 5 on the floor at one point.
Yeah, we got basically nothing from Sean East. Golston just was forcing it all game. He didn't look comfortable. Isaiah Mosley remains on the bench. We're not going to really get into that because I don't know that there's really anything to get into at this point that we don't already know. It was not great, and that's unfortunately the last kind of taste in our mouth right now. That's the last thing we've seen. I don't think Missouri will look that bad, hopefully, in most or if any of the games they play the remainder of the season, but unfortunately we had to witness that one against a rival.
Yeah, Missouri turned the ball over 21 times. That's good for 28% of their possessions. 28% ended in a turnover. And, of course, Kansas only turns it over 14 times.
Right. Yeah.
Kansas with 24 assists to Missouri's 8.
Yeah, again, we brought up last week something that Missouri has done really well all season is kind of just exploited the transition game and just immediately just outlet pass whenever off a miss or off a turnover. Well, when you play good teams, they make a lot of shots, which means you give them time to get back. It's a lot harder to beat them down the court in a transition, and they don't turn the ball over as much, so they weren't getting really any steals or anything. So they just basically had to operate completely out of the half-court offense against a good defense, and just it didn't go well.
Yeah, Missouri's offense out of the half court looked pretty bad. There was a lot of just like every player trying to post up their guy and like back him down into the paint. Not a lot of ball movement.
A lot of
ISO, and you're using a lot of ISO, but it's not Mosley.
Yeah.
Weird. And then when they weren't like settling into their half court offense, they were literally just throwing the ball away.
Yep.
I mean, feels like this is probably an overestimate, but it feels like 5 or 6 times they threw like a 3/4 court pass that got intercepted.
Well, how many times did they throw it to somebody and they just like butterfingered it out of bounds?
Yeah.
Like I feel like Demoy Hodge did that by himself at least 3 times. Like just dropped the pass and it just went out of bounds.
And Hodge still had the best game offensively of any Missouri player. He was 4 for 9 from 3, 15 points. He was 4 of 9 from 3. The rest of the team 2 for 11. But we needed, we needed that. We needed him to do that in each half, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. Clearly, we just were so far away from what Kansas was on that day at least, and the defense is even more of a concern than I think I originally thought. And Kansas at times was just not even running offense. It just didn't matter. They just drove the ball and just kind of, I don't even know, just passed around for a minute and someone's going to be open.
Yeah, it was a lot of time for Kansas on offense. It was like the first action they tried resulted in a made basket.
Yeah.
So many times.
Rarely was the ball was the possessions getting down to the end of the shot clock. They didn't need it.
Yeah.
They just were scoring as quickly as they wanted to.
Yeah, and it got to a point where Missouri could have stopped them 10 times in a row, but they would have only turned that into 4 points on offense. Kansas is really good, though. I don't know. I didn't watch a ton of Kansas going into this because to be completely honest, I wanted to think that we could win this game, and I didn't want to see how good Kansas was ahead of time necessarily, but they were the best version of themselves in this game, easily.
Yeah, I think Bill Self said after the game this was by far the best game they played all year. So, I still don't think they're the team they were last year, or probably even very close to it, but they looked potentially that good against Missouri, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd say they're not as deep as they were last year. Like, their starting 5 is probably as good as any starting 5 in the country, but they don't have quite as deep a bench. But like right now, they sit 14th in KenPom on offense, 11th on defense, and when it comes tournament time, in the analytic era, if you find teams that are top 20 in both offensive and defensive efficiency, those are the teams that you predict to go to the Final Four, basically. So as it sits right now, Kansas is a Final Four caliber team, and Missouri, after getting blown out like that, they've got work to do to be a bubble team at this point.
Yeah.
And it's always weird for me because it does feel like it's early in the season to be talking about the NCAA tournament, but when that's kind of the type of team you have, it's like a bubble team.
It's the barometer of success.
Yeah, now we're talking about we need a win or two still in non-conference play. Like, the beating Illinois would erase this game, basically, as far as, like, those two would kind of even out as far as tournament eligibility, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But if we only have these 9 wins going into conference play, then I think we're squarely on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Obviously, getting completely blasted by your rival is awful. But one other frustrating thing from this game was they haven't played anybody crowd was very validated after how this game went. And honestly, I'm starting to think that is probably true.
Yeah, I mean, when the only other top 100 team you've played, it was an overtime win, a game you probably shouldn't have won against Wichita State. Yeah, I can't argue with that too much. And Missouri dropped considerably in KenPom from before the SEMO game. We were 39th, looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
After a poor showing in that game, getting destroyed by Kansas, we're now sitting at number 62.
That's a pretty massive drop for only 2 games.
Yeah.
And one of them was a win.
Right. Let me see if I have anything else to say about the Kansas game here. Noah Carter with 12 points, but I mean, we needed somebody to bring something on offense. I mean, I can't tell you, there was so many missed shots just at the basket, and you could tell Missouri was just not used to that kind of defense at the rim.
Yeah.
Because we had opportunities right there at the basket that Kansas just made them difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It was like even kind of on ISO stuff. It was like, these guys move their feet and don't foul.
Right.
Yeah. You could tell they were getting frustrated trying to score.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's there's not much of a silver lining to
and
this
again,
one.
I guess I don't want to it sounds like I'm like complimenting Kansas. It feels awful like saying these like positive things about Kansas, but I mean honestly though, just look at our personnel. Like obviously I love Gomillion and some of those guys, like the energy they bring, and like I love the career trajectory they've had, and like it's admirable like to be at the level of ball like that they're at. But just look at the caliber of athlete like on the floor, man. You got like these like NBA bodies for Kansas, and I don't know. There was just there was a clear difference in athlete on the floor.
Yeah,
and I think that will
Jalen
change.
Wilson looked like a pro.
Yes,
out there.
Jalen Wilson in particular looked just dominant, like physically.
Yeah,
and I think that will change over the next couple of years. But this is what we're at right now.
Yeah, he went for 24 and 10 double. Ooh, and 3 steals. All right, well, I think next year we play him in Kansas City.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. Yeah, the final score 95-67. They even cleared the bench at the end and let a walk-on get a 3.
Yeah, he drained it.
All right. Next up for Mizzou basketball is UCF, number 65 in KenPom. UCF still coached by Johnny Dawkins. We played them 2019 when they had Taco Fall, and we beat them. And that was the same year that they went to the NCAA tournament and almost beat Duke, I think, in the second round. Do you remember that game,
Mm-hmm.
Taco Fall versus Zion Williamson?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do remember that. And it feels like Missouri won on maybe a buzzer beater.
Jordan Geist? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Johnny Dawkins still there this year. They are 7-2 on the season. They did lose their season opener to UNC Asheville. Bad loss there. That was in double overtime. They beat number 36 Oklahoma State, and tonight, it is Wednesday night, they play Ole Miss. So it might be worth looking into that. They're, like I said, number 65 in KenPom, 126 on offense, 32 on defense, but the interesting thing is 355th in tempo. Very slow-paced team.
Interesting. Yeah, is this one of those kind of like a non-conference tournament?
It's like
it's in Florida.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a borderline home game for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure all the dynamics of it. And I, to be honest with you, can't even remember if there's a second game to be played.
Yeah.
Pending the result of this one, it might just be a one-off. But super slow tempo. Watch out for their freshman forward. He is 6'9", Taylor Hendricks. I think I read he is the highest rated recruit ever to commit to UCF. Top 100 player, 4-star guy. 6'9", shooting 50% from three.
Wow.
And he will pull the trigger from three, and he's a good shot blocker.
So he'll probably shoot about 80% against us.
Yeah. And I think he is like, they're talking about him maybe being one and done type of player. Was just a 4-star recruit, but with his size and youth and being able to shoot from outside, I think an NBA team will try to scoop him up.
Mm-hmm.
A couple familiar names on the UCF squad. Do you remember C.J. Walker, high school recruit, originally committed to Oregon? Mizzou was in the mix for him. He transferred to UCF. He's there now. Speaking of transfers, senior wing C.J. Kelly has played 4 years. This is his 4th year in college basketball. He's played at a different school all 4 years. Started at Norfolk State, transferred to Albany, then UMass, now UCF.
Up in the Northeast, and then still stayed east. But
yeah.
Wow.
Warmer weather.
Interesting. Well traveled.
I got a couple more for you.
Okay.
7-footer Michael Durr started his career at South Florida, transferred to Indiana. He didn't play pretty much at all last year, and then now transferred to UCF. He has been a little bit injured this year, but 7-footer, really good shot blocker. UCF's got a lot of size.
Yeah.
They play the pace to kind of allow their guys to do their thing offensively.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Like, again, it's kind of one of those complete opposite type things where Missouri is going to want to go fast. They're going to probably play small against a slow-paced team with size. I don't know that we've seen that yet. Obviously, Kansas isn't even a huge team. I thought we matched up well against them size-wise, at least before the game started.
And
I thought we might.
Kansas was okay with running a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't try to slow it down.
No.
That was maybe the most depressing part of the whole thing. Going back to that is like Kansas was just like, yeah, we'll run with you and just it won't matter. Yeah.
Yes, this will be. I see this as kind of like a coin flip. It's just there's so many unknowns in this game. Just the neutral court situation and the conflicting styles. Any hangover from the Kansas game? Maybe it could be positive or negative. Honestly, you kind of draw up any narrative you want.
Yeah, it could be bounce back. It could be we're still sad.
Yeah, there's really no way to predict what's going to happen.
Oh, one more interesting thing. Another guy on the UCF squad that you've heard of, Ty Freeman, formerly of Parkview, formerly of Missouri State University.
Yeah, he never played a game at Missouri State.
So he's like in his junior season eligibility-wise for UCF as like a 22-year-old.
Did he go straight to UCF from Missouri State, do you know?
I think he was nowhere for a year.
It seemed like he went somewhere else and was like really good and like surprisingly productive, but maybe...
Oh, I think maybe it was like he transferred down a level or something?
So.
Okay. Anyway, he was kind of off the radar for a little bit, but then now he's at UCF. Not a huge contributor for them, but when I saw his name, I was like, oh, yeah, we know him.
Yeah, the transfer portal era is like every team in the country is like, yeah, I remember Missouri recruiting him, or he was at Missouri, or he was at whatever. You know somebody on almost every team somewhere.
Yeah. We talk about KenPom a lot on this podcast. It's $20 for the year. It's incredibly inexpensive, super cool website, but you can look at anybody's roster, click on a name, and it'll show you everywhere they played. And like some schools, like Missouri's one this year, every name you click on, just about, there was somewhere else before. And that's the new normal, basically. Before the season, Kyle, I predicted that we would split the Wichita State and UCF games.
Well, I know what that means then.
And that means, I think we're still sad after the Kansas game. I think UCF imposes their will a little bit. I think it's going to be just as hard to score inside against this team as it was Kansas. I think UCF wins. I hope it's close. I think it's going to be like 68 to 65.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way, just because of the slow pace and size, and they can shoot. I just feel like every bucket is gonna feel like a dagger in this game because it probably will be a little lower scoring. I just want to say, so far Missouri has not had fewer than 70 possessions in a game. That was against Penn. Mm-hmm.
UCF has had 5 games under 70 possessions this year, and they won all of those.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I would love to see Missouri kind of approach this unique opponent, probably one that we don't know much about, that we conflict in styles. I would love to see them just figure it out, just find a way to beat this team that just, I don't know, it's just totally different from you, and maybe that's a Dennis Gates thing in a year or two from now, where he's got a little bit of personnel. But right now, I don't trust this defense to do anything. And after seeing them play against better athletes on offense last week, I'm not sure I have a lot of faith in that either right now. So I think I just got to see it before I can predict another win against a good opponent.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to think that we're sitting here thinking the season's over or anything like that. I think we just basically, the Kansas game confirmed some of our fears about the weaknesses about this Missouri team. And now that's basically the reality until we see otherwise.
The weaknesses looked very loud against Kansas. I don't think it's going to be that bad in most games going forward. And Missouri's just got to find their groove. I think they'll figure it out. And I still think they have an excellent shot of being a tournament team. And maybe we'll get some Mosley at some point too.
Yeah, there's still opportunity in conference play. There's going to be a lot of teams bunched up in the middle of the SEC. And throw out the records when Missouri and Illinois play.
Yeah.
Still have that to look forward to. Missouri might just come out against UCF and turn them over a bunch and get out in transition. And, if anything, let's hope Missouri's offense can look like they can do something, because they looked just completely out of sorts against Kansas. Hopefully everybody can calm down.
They're probably going to be playing this game in front of 500 people.
Yeah, it could be a little different. Should be more chill. I think after everything I've seen so far makes me think, unless Mosley comes back and is lights out, I think we got to be running the offense through Hodge, Carter. I still like the ball in Sean East's hands, but
I thought Nick Honor played really well against Kansas. Honestly, might have been the only player that I thought played well.
Yeah,
had some super clutch drives and hit a few threes. I felt like he was undeterred by what was happening. Yeah,
it made me think that he kind of felt like, oh, everybody else is out of sorts. I'm just going to have to try to make something happen. Mm-hmm. And he was able to do it a little bit, but I don't think we want that to be the case.
Like 5'10" point guard.
Yeah, feeling like he needs to take over.
Yeah. Is he 5'10" even?
Yeah, we'll give that to him.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here. That's probably it for basketball for right now. Moving on to football. It's been a busy news week for football. Big picture, got a few things of note here. Well, first of all, sorry to be serious for a moment, but we do want to mention the passing of Mike Leach, the Mississippi State head coach. Just a really sad situation there. I guess massive heart attack, and he's passed away, and it just devastating for really college football as a whole. I mean, it's hard to find somebody more influential, and just like when you look at his coaching tree, and since this happened, there's been an outpouring of stories and support on Twitter. It's been good to read all of that, but just a really sad situation there. Just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, clearly somebody in college football that everybody loved and was an innovator and a really unique guy and fun and smart, a brilliant guy. So college football will definitely miss Mike Leach.
Okay, awkward transition. Purdue has a new head football coach, and you know about him because it is former Mizzou defensive coordinator Ryan Walters. He took over for Brom is his name. I can't remember his first name. Jeff Brom, who took the head coaching job at Louisville.
Correct.
So Ryan Walters getting a head coach job.
Yeah. Good for him. I mean, obviously, he's always been a bright up-and-comer. I think we knew that when he was at Mizzou, he probably wouldn't be there a super long time. And I'm glad that he's not at Illinois anymore because they're good, and I don't want them to be good.
Illinois, not too terribly far away from Purdue, so it's like if he wanted to take a few players with him, that wouldn't surprise me. If there was a few players that he was recruiting, maybe from the East St. Louis area specifically that maybe wanted to reopen their commitment or their recruitment or something, I'd be open to that. I would hope that maybe, anytime there's any kind of turmoil at Illinois, you got to hope that.
How can we take advantage of this?
Yeah,
exactly.
Maybe a player or two will find their way back home.
Yeah.
Now on the Mizzou side of things, this just was announced like 20 minutes before we started recording. Quarterback coach of Mizzou, Bush Hamdan, has taken the offensive coordinator position at Boise State. He was a quarterback there back in the day, so he is no longer with Mizzou football, and he is a name that a lot of fans and people were thinking was going to be offensive coordinator at Mizzou next year.
Yeah.
And there was all the conversation about him taking more ownership of calling plays, but then he's not actually doing that. That was that whole mess.
Yeah, this one kind of caught me off guard a little bit, honestly. I guess I wasn't really. I guess it's that time of year. Coaches moving around. I just for whatever reason forgot that Mizzou's coaches can go somewhere else.
Yeah, the Ryan Walters announcement. I was just like, wait, what? What's going on? Like, I guess
coaching carousels here.
Yeah.
I guess, I kind of just thought Bush Hamdan was going to be around a little bit. I thought he had a shot at being Mizzou's OC. So obviously this tells us either he knew he was not going to be Mizzou's OC or they're not going to hire an offensive coordinator. So, or maybe he just really, you mentioned before we started recording, maybe he just wanted to go back to Boise State because that's where he played. That's kind of an interesting wrinkle, but I think it's more so the opportunity was not going to be at Missouri. We just don't know exactly why yet. So,
yeah, I mean, to speculate a little bit, you've got to think if the path was there for him, if he was going to be offensive coordinator next year, he's most likely not leaving Missouri.
And he would know, probably.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine he's making more. He's probably making as much money at Mizzou as quarterbacks coach and whatever other responsibilities he has as OC at Boise State. It's got to be in the ballpark. He would definitely be making more as OC at Mizzou.
Oh, for sure. I hope Coach Drinkwitz learned a thing or two from Bush Hamdan, because I got to play a bowl game.
Yeah, that's true. Watch him go out and Brady Cook runs the ball 0 times, and we lose.
Just to go back to that Vanderbilt
Yes.
stagnant offense.
Yeah,
we're okay, common denominator.
Is there anything that we can glean from this as far as what Mizzou does, offensive coordinator? You're talking about how out of the blue it was. Tomorrow we could hear that they hired so-and-so as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think it really tells us anything necessarily about what Mizzou wants to do. I think it's just pretty clear that either they're not going to hire anyone, and Coach Trink is going to keep calling plays, and they're kind of going to do the committee approach, or they wanted to shoot a little higher. Casey Woods had a great season as the offensive coordinator at SMU, I believe. He might be worth a look, but other than that...
Worth a look for sure.
And he would still know a lot of these guys. He probably helped recruit a lot of the guys on Mizzou's roster. So, and that is kind of a career move that would certainly be a step up, an OC at SMU to an SEC coordinator. I think that's certainly a step up. So that's a move that makes sense to me as a Mizzou fan, but don't know if that's in the cards whatsoever.
Okay, so just kind of setting the expectations for this offseason, are you going to be disappointed if, April rolls around? we get into spring and summer and there's just no movement whatsoever as far as offensive coordinator?
Oh, I mean, if they don't hire anyone by like February, it's probably not happening. But yeah, I guess a little disappointed. I think they should hire an OC. I really do. Am I going to be like crestfallen if it doesn't happen? No, I think it'll be fine. And I mean, it sounds like they've got some kind of committee that they're working with, that it worked out there at the end of the season. I don't know how much you can read into that.
That's
but
still a weird explanation.
It's a weird explanation, and it's probably a lie to some extent.
Yeah,
but,
that's what I was thinking.
I don't know.
I want to know the details about the committee approach to calling plays.
But I would say I want them to hire an OC, and I think I would guess they probably do.
Okay. Well, I'm counting on it. You got my hopes up now. All right, let's talk about transfer portal. All I have for right now is Hiron White found a landing spot. He's going to SMU.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be next year will be his 7th season on a college football team.
That's crazy. Did he start at Mizzou?
Yes.
He's been there that long?
Yes. He's
had that many injuries.
Redshirted / was hurt his true freshman season, and then also lost a second season after playing a little bit to injury, then came back, and now is transferring. So, yeah.
Should have a starting job there.
And Mizzou got a commitment from transfer wide receiver from Oklahoma, Theo Wease.
I also got to say, maybe Casey Woods is the person yet to be named in the trade for Hiron White.
Could be.
Theo Wease. Now that is exciting.
Yes.
I think you just said this. Transfer wide receiver from Oklahoma. 2 very productive seasons at Oklahoma, where I think he had 4 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. Over 1,000 career receiving yards.
4 touchdowns each season.
Yes, I think he has 10 career touchdowns. Mm-hmm. He's kind of an interesting athlete. Like, he was insanely high recruit. Like, I think top 3 wide receiver coming out of high school. Not really like a burner, but really good route runner, good hands. He's definitely gonna have to try and chip into that Dominic Lovett role for sure.
I don't know that he's he's definitely not the same player, though.
No, not at all. But production-wise.
Yes. 6'3", 200 pounds, and he's a very physical wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a bigger wide receiver for sure.
Do not take this. He is physical in a similar way that Luther Burden is. He's not the same type, not the same player.
Yeah.
But he does bring a physicality that is reminiscent of Luther Burden.
Yeah, I would like to see Theo Wease kind of play on the outside. Maybe Luther Burden can move to the slot. I think that might be the ideal thing. But Mekhi Miller might play in the slot too. I don't know, but
there's options.
There's a ton of options, really. But Missouri's wide receivers are going to be talented again next year, and I think Burden and Wease are going to be really efficient, maybe in the mid-range, intermediate range, and hopefully maybe we can still kind of have that deep threat that takes the top off the defense, and maybe Mookie Cooper can fill that role, or another transfer. But the offense looks exciting.
Yeah. The way the transfer portal is now, you basically just take anyone that can contribute, no matter how deep you are at a position. Like, I say you still kick the tires on a running back if you have somebody that is a playmaker that wants to come in. And obviously we know Missouri would not say no to someone like the NC State quarterback, even though
Devin Leary.
Yeah, it's been quiet. I mean, I don't expect Mizzou or Drinkwitz, I don't think anybody from Mizzou's camp is going to be as public, and I don't think we're going to know what's going on there like we did last year, where there's just names every day that we should be looking at. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we just get like a depth transfer at quarterback.
That's what I think is the most likely outcome for the quarterback position, is just get somebody that has some experience at a lower level that can back up Brady Cook or Sam Horn.
That'll upset everybody, but
it will probably. But I think we're just gonna have to try and be rational and just see like what level of player we're looking at. I think it will tell us Missouri's plans for sure. But I agree with you on the running back. I still think there's going to be some departures there, whether it's Elijah Young because he's not playing as much, or maybe even Nathaniel Pete. Maybe, I don't know. There's probably maybe even 2 to 3 guys that could leave that room. So I think Missouri's looking at running back for sure.
And you never say no to an offensive line transfer, really.
Yeah, that might even be priority number 1.
Yeah.
Right now
for the whole team, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although we do need a punter all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Because
Stonehouse.
Yeah, Stonehouse transferred.
Yeah.
So
where's he gonna go?
Yeah.
Where do you think you're going?
We need a punter now.
We do.
Oh, he had all the leverage.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Seriously. Well, gonna go get a payday.
I guess. Yeah, he's gonna get a real fat NIL opportunity somewhere.
Theo Wease was pretty, like, I think he was number 2 wide receiver transfer. Kind of, I don't know. He was up there. Definitely one of the biggest, most productive wide receiver transfers out there, at least currently. And obviously Dominic Lovett's probably number 1, but
yeah,
Theo Wease
was
up there. Yeah.
I was thinking, like, who's number 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Hey, he can still return.
Yeah. You could do worse than replacing
sure.
the number 1 wide receiver transfer with the number 2. So
yeah.
I like this pickup more than Armstrong, who went to Arkansas.
I agree.
He's different player, different experience, and I would much rather have Wease.
I agree.
Last personnel thing that just came out today is Chris Abrams-Drain is back, folks.
Let's go.
And that is huge for Missouri's defense next year.
Yeah, honestly, I thought Chris Abrams-Drain was going to go to the NFL this year. I think he could have been probably a day 2 pick. So he's turning away some money to come back and run it back one more time. And he was such a shutdown corner this year. Anytime he was on the field, other teams were barely throwing the ball his direction at all. A little undersized, but just it didn't matter. He's great.
Help me out a little bit. Day 2 of the NFL draft comprises what rounds?
2 to 4.
Okay.
Rounds 2 through 4.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, easy. He goes there.
Thursday night is round 1, and then day 2.
Beginning of this season, there was chatter about him being like a first round pick to, best case scenario.
Yeah, I think it's actually rounds 2 and 3. I apologize.
Okay.
It is. Rounds 2 and 3 is day 2. But
you said it right the first time. 2-4. They stop right before round 4.
There you go, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I think if he's thinking like I can come back one more year and play myself into being a first round pick, I think that's doable.
Yeah.
He may not, like you're saying, may not have the size to really impress NFL teams, but if the production's there.
Yeah, there's always going to be that element of like he's not going to have the measurables really at any point, but
that's Mizzou for you. I mean, that's
basically. Yeah, you're exactly right. We rarely come across those kind of players because it means you have to bring in a top 10 recruiting class to get them. So Chris Abrams-Drain though, super excited he's coming back, and I think he'll be a top draft pick next year.
And I think Ennis Rakestraw, there's not been an announcement, anything. He's not in the portal. He's not, but I think he's back. I think he's ready to go. I think he's got his partner.
He's got his boy.
Yep. I think they're coming back, both of them.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't even know if we see an announcement from Rakestraw saying I'm back or anything. I think it's just, he was never anywhere but here.
Yeah, that would be a little contrary to what we normally see from him. He's a character, man.
Yeah,
you gotta respect his Twitter game. But Missouri is pretty hot on I believe a cornerback transfer from Florida. I think his name's like Avery Helms. So it did seem like Missouri was at the very least planning for maybe one of those 2 guys to be gone, or maybe they're just getting some depth. But
bring him in.
Something to monitor.
Bring
him in.
Yeah.
Well, let him
play
fight it out.
He'll play after they're gone to the NFL.
You can't plan for anything beyond like 1 year at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Just stockpile talent and we'll
see what you have next year.
Yes, exactly. And we're not above switching guys' positions either. So
no, we're not.
You got too many wide receivers, make one a safety. You got too many safeties, make one a quarterback. You can do that. That's allowed.
Yeah, we've done it.
Anything else before we're gonna pick the SEC bowl games? I think that's all I have left. One more chance for me to dig myself into the deepest hole imaginable in SEC Pick'em. And I'm really looking forward to picking the Nebraska bowl game.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be
the toilet bowl.
Toilet bowl.
Nebraska's playing in the toilet bowl.
Who are they playing against?
That's the joke. They're
Nobody.
not.
Nebraska's not bowl eligible, Kyle.
Got him.
Man. I'm glad. I think that's actually funny.
I'm glad you appreciate it. But the first SEC bowl game is Saturday. This coming Saturday. Florida, I think.
Is that the Las Vegas one that Missouri wanted?
Missouri wanted the Gasparilla Bowl, Kyle. Missouri wanted Wake Forest.
They wanted the Liberty Bowl, apparently.
Yeah. Breaking news. Missouri actually really, really wanted the Liberty Bowl. And the Liberty Bowl said, no, we want Arkansas.
Couldn't decide what word you wanted to say there. You started 3 different words.
Oh, man.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. All right, take it away, Producer Cameron.
Sounds good. Our first game is, in fact...
Wait, can we get our totals?
If you want to.
Oh, I want to know.
All right, you've got 63. Guest pickers have 72. Kyle has 74, and I have 80.
All right.
Rip.
Man.
Got some work to do. And our guest picker is, for the 15th time, Tyler.
Tyler.
Welcome back in.
Good luck.
We love you, Tyler.
We should just add him as his own.
No. We're not adding any more permanent pickers.
All right. Florida against number 14, Oregon State. Oregon State is a 10-point favorite.
Oregon State is ranked?
Yeah, they're good.
Go Beavers.
No.
Oh, yeah. They're going to beat Florida. Florida lost their quarterback. Not. Yeah. No Richardson.
Tyler picks Oregon State.
I pick Oregon State.
What's the line? I'm sorry.
10.
Oh gosh. Okay. I don't know anything about
Oregon State. 9-3 on the season.
I literally can't name a single thing they've done or a single player on their team, but I'll pick them.
All right. Everybody's on Oregon State.
Well, you were really sounded like you were going to pick Florida for a second.
Well, a little bit of
misdirection.
A little bit of look over here and.
You tricked us.
All right. Here's an interesting one.
Okay.
Kansas versus Arkansas. Arkansas is a 3-point favorite.
God, I hate both these teams.
Wow.
So bad.
I don't even want to turn it on my TV.
No.
Should have just not picked this one.
I don't even want to turn on a stream because ESPN will be like, wow, look at all the people that want to watch this.
Ugh.
I want to contribute to the ratings.
We'll have to pirate it.
They almost have the same name. There's just 2 more letters.
The
for
Kansas and Arkansas. Oh.
Yeah, it's the same name. Okay, give me Arkansas, I guess.
Yeah. The lesser of two evils.
Barry Odom's not there anymore. He's at UNLV.
Are they more evil now without him?
I don't know.
It's too hard to think about.
That's too much math.
All right, everybody on Arkansas. Texas Tech against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a 3.5-point favorite.
Well, now that Lane's staying, I think Ole Miss is going to be good again. I'll take them.
They're going to rally around him.
Tyler picks Ole Miss.
They're favored?
Yeah, by 3.5.
Give me the upset. Give me Texas Tech.
Are we picking any? Is this the last time we're going to pick these games?
Yeah.
So basically Cameron's safe no matter what happens? Okay.
Yeah. I'm in 4th place pretty much no matter what.
Okay.
I
could try and I should just
the guest pickers could pick you.
I should
pass you.
Just
basically.
be picking the opposite of everything Cameron does, basically.
Yeah, but then you could finish 3rd.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
I want my name on the trophy.
Oh, I see.
I'll take Texas Tech.
Okay.
Make it easy for you.
There we go.
What'd you do?
Tech.
Let's go. Number 1, 21. Number 21.
Okay.
I got excited, sorry. Number 21, Notre Dame against number 19, South Carolina. Notre Dame is a 2-point favorite. I'll take South Carolina.
Yeah, I think this is pretty easy Notre Dame for me.
What did Tyler pick?
Notre Dame.
I wanted to pick Notre Dame, but I will pick South Carolina.
All right.
South Carolina beat Tennessee.
Missouri almost beat Georgia. Teams can beat teams.
Number 6.
Does that seem less reasonable?
Teams can beat teams. Huh?
What does that seem? It does seem ridiculous that South Carolina beat Tennessee because Tennessee beat Missouri by a zillion points.
And South Carolina sucks. Against Missouri, apparently.
Yeah.
That's it.
The only team that has come even remotely close to challenging Georgia was Missouri. Why? Why did that happen?
We're just so good.
I wish Cody Schrader would have scored.
Yeah. What did we pick it? South
Yeah.
Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
All right.
Okay. Number 6, Tennessee versus number 7, Clemson. Clemson is a 6.5-point favorite.
Just because Hendon Hooker got hurt.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Thanks for
But
reminding me.
Clemson lost their quarterback too. He's transferring out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, yeah. Clemson was awful. I think
Tennessee's backup quarterback Milton. He's good, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler takes Tennessee. Give me Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah. Probably Tennessee's gonna win, but give me Clemson
Hmm.
I
For
say
this-
the same thing.
for the sake of this exercise.
Clemson.
I bet Tennessee wins that by like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, probably.
Number 5, Alabama against number 9, Kansas State. Alabama is a 3-point favorite.
That's an interesting matchup.
I pick Alabama.
I do too. So does Tyler.
Okay, give me Kansas State.
Maybe I should be trying to pass Kyle.
Iowa versus Kentucky. Iowa is a 2.5-point favorite.
Talk about a game I do not want to watch.
It's gonna be boring. As
No
hell.
Will Levis, and Iowa has no offense at all.
Except they found a way to score 15 points against Nebraska a few weeks ago.
Yep.
I'll take. I don't want to take either one of these teams.
Yeah, they're both bad.
I'll take Kentucky.
What'd Tyler pick?
Kentucky.
I'll take Iowa.
I'll take Kentucky.
Ugh.
Iowa sucks.
Okay, I'll switch. Give me Iowa.
Oh,
Let's go.
it's gonna be a disaster.
Going down with a ship here,
Yeah.
boys.
What'd you take?
Iowa.
Iowa. All right.
I took them.
Number 4, Ohio State versus number 1, Georgia. Georgia is a 6.5-point favorite.
These games count extra or anything like that? Any bonus points at play here?
For what?
You picked the upset correctly.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
What did Tyler pick?
Georgia. I'll take Georgia.
I'll take Ohio State.
I'll take Ohio State.
Wow.
Just whatever you pick, Cam, put me down for the opposite.
Ohio State got exposed by Michigan, though.
Yeah, they did.
Just a
yeah.
fluke?
Probably not.
Okay.
Georgia almost lost to
Is
Missouri.
Georgia-
Just a fluke?
Yes.
Probably not.
Georgia just going to go undefeated 2 years in a row, back-to-back national champions?
I guess.
We'll
We'll see.
Tell us how you really feel about
hate that. Okay.
Number 22, Mississippi State versus Illinois. Illinois is a 2-point favorite. I'll take Mississippi State.
Yeah. Wild that they're playing this game, honestly.
Yeah.
I guess the defensive coordinator was named head coach, like signed to a contract and everything today.
Yeah. That happened pretty quickly also. Kind of a little surprised.
Yeah. I bet Illinois wins this
Yeah,
game.
just give me Illinois.
Well, what did Tyler pick?
Mississippi State.
Like I said, Illinois, all the way.
Yeah, you knew it.
Yeah.
And our last one is number 17, LSU versus Purdue. LSU is a 10.5-point favorite.
Ryan Walters, first game.
I'll take LSU.
Right, first game. Is he kind of coaching it?
Probably.
Really?
I hadn't even thought about that.
Why wouldn't he?
He has to install his offense and defense.
What else is he going to do? He's the head coach right now as we speak.
They got.
He's just going to be like, not this one. I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Yeah, probably. There is absolutely no way Purdue wins this game. Give me Purdue.
Oh, okay. What did Tyler pick?
LSU.
I'll take Purdue. Let's go, Ryan Walters.
We just picked like 14 games, and I'm going to get a total of 3 points.
Probably. You just like every time was like, they're going to win. I'm picking the other team.
Well, that'll do it.
Okay.
What a great year.
Good luck, everyone. Producer Cameron finally going to get his name on the trophy.
Don't jinx it. I can still throw it away.
How do you feel that you're going to have your name on the trophy finally?
Well, there's like not really room on the front, so it'll probably have to go on the back somewhere. Which is actually nice because I'll be able to see it when we're recording. So
Jinxed.
Hey, you know those games at the beginning that we picked that I don't remember what they are? Just give me whatever you didn't pick. Everything you picked, I'll take the opposite for the whole slate.
Sounds good.
I don't even know who those teams are. I want the opposite.
Okay. Kyle's picking Kansas. So.
Oh, and he's wearing red and blue.
Oh, wow. Way to go.
Special thank you to our Patreon supporters at the $10 level and above. Look at Kylan's red and blue. Britt Treese, Brian Smith, Ryan DeMore, Tristan Ben Smith, Parker Daddy JD, Luis Hernandez, Tim Keens, Tyler Harsel, Brandon Groffalo, Brandon Hanks. Thank you.
I can't believe you exposed me. Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate you and love you. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. We're on Twitter at Mizzou Sports Pod, and you can email us at MissouriSportsPod@gmail.com.
You can find our T-shirts, our gold and black T-shirts, Kyle, on our online shop, Missouri Sports
That's what we wear around here.
.pickcartel.com.
Lucky for you, nobody listens this far into the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.